Oh my goodness gracious. We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
We are.
This is Saturday night with your CarEdge coaches, or as I found out, it's Coaches in Action. This is the CIA, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Coaches in Action with Phil, the director of the CIA, and
Yes.
Mario, who I understand this evening is going to explain leases until we all fall asleep. That's what I've heard.
Everyone get their popcorn.
We are going to have some fun tonight. The CIA is going to go over deals, deal structures, leases, things of that nature, so that you will have a better idea, you customers out there, viewers out there, as to what's a good deal and what's not. And well, according to what Justice gave me, my introduction is supposed to take 5 minutes. There's two people here. How the hell is that ever going to take 5 minutes?
You got 4 more left.
I got so much time left. It's scary. Phil is he is in charge of our coaches. He's the are you the director, the manager, what the hell are you?
Let's just call him manager. It's fine.
Okay.
We don't.
And
I
Mario,
did like director though.
I like the director of the CIA, Coaches in Action. And Mario is. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe Mario. He is the most patient, knowledgeable individual I have ever met when it comes to actually explaining a deal and what you need to look for when you're looking at the numbers. Me, I've done it for 43 years, and it's like, what do you mean you don't get it yet? And Mario was like, I understand why you don't understand it, and if you don't mind, I'd like to take a little more time to explain it to you so you do get it. And so bless Mario for that. Gentlemen, both of you, welcome to CarEdge Coaches in Action. How are you both doing tonight?
Fantastic. This has been it's been so exciting to lead up to this tonight. Number one, I don't think we've ever had an opportunity to be on the Saturday night show, and this is exciting just for that. And the fact that we have all this information to be able to share with everyone today, so awesome.
Mario, what do you think?
That's exciting. Yeah. It's big leagues on Saturday. I remember watching, the show way back when it started, and it's incredible, to be here on the Saturday with, all the fans.
Well, I will say the same thing tonight that I said then. What everybody's doing with us on a Saturday night, I have no idea. You should have better things to do than to hang out with us. But if you don't, we are here to inform and entertain, I promise you. Now, I understand that according to my schedule that I received from Justice, who is producing this program tonight, that segment 1 is what's hot, what's not. So with that said, Mario and Phil, and I believe Phil is going first. Phil is going to review some vehicles that are hot. And what we mean by hot, we mean that you can get a good deal on them or good discounts on them in comparison to the cars that, are not. So, Phil, if you would, please share with us 5 vehicles that you think right now are hot or good buys for our customers.
Yeah, so let's start off with the first. I'm sure you've heard a lot in the news in regards to the Ram, the 1500s. Now, I wish it was a TRX, really do.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it isn't. But the Ram 1500, we're pushing up to 18% off of these, off the MSRP on these trucks.
And when you say that, Phil, is that prior to the dealer discount, or is that the dealer discount plus the factory incentives?
That is dealer plus factory. So what we've seen as of late, a 10% factory incentive, and then we've seen up to an additional 8% off from dealer discounts.
Yeah. Yep. Some trims more than others. Yeah, like RME and Bighorn. They're the ones that have the limited, a little bit less on the incentive side. Yeah.
Correct. Hey, so that's one. And 2. So I recently came across this. The Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland, not the Wagoneer. I know that it shows under the Wagoneer, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland recently have seen in select markets, and it's select VINs, probably aged stock, but they are out there, and you can get a 20% off MSRP Stellantis incentive off of that vehicle. As you all know, SUVs are very expensive. I mean, you could, if you're looking at a 3-row, you could be up to $50,000-$60,000, right? 20% off certainly helps that.
And that's before the dealer discount?
That's correct.
Oh my God. So you might be able to get upwards or pretty darn close to maybe 30% off?
I would say that would be a very strong ask. Yes. And it could be very possible.
Okay. So probably between dealer discount and the Stellantis 20% off, perhaps a total of maybe 25% off.
Yeah. I would say that would be completely reasonable.
Well, that just indicates that they're 25% overpriced.
Yes. I was going to say that about the Ram too, but it didn't quite. I mean, look, just over the last couple years, the Stellantis product has increased prices. I don't know what they're up like 10-15% from what they were, probably even more.
Yeah, probably somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Yep. So does it really hurt their pocketbook? Heck no. But does it look good to the consumer? Yeah. But better to buy the car at 20% off than buying it at MSRP.
When you I don't know if you remember the days when Joseph A. Bank was a big time clothier, and they used to always run ads. And if you bought 2 suits, you got 3 free or something like that. Buy 2, get 3. You got a third one for free. And I always thought, I pity the fool who walked in there in the day when they weren't having the sale, because it's like they had the sale 29 out of 30 days each month. Okay. Buy 2, you get the third suit free. You're the one guy that walks in there on that one day when you don't have it, and you buy 2 and you only get 2. And it makes me feel bad when I see things like that Jeep Cherokee Overland, for the people that might have bought it at MSRP. And Stellantis is giving now a factory incentive of 20% off. I mean, you've got to feel bad for the people that paid way too much.
Now, Ray, you bring up a good point. Like, what about price guarantee, price matching? If you buy a product, let's say from like Best Buy or something, heck, 2 weeks later, you can go back if they've raised the price, you can go back and get a refund off of that. How cool would that be if you bought your Grand Cherokee? Oh, okay, I only got 5%, but then they got 20% off come a bit later. That's okay. You can go back to the dealership and get your extra 15%. that would never happen, but wishful thinking.
Well, we shouldn't say that would never happen, because I do believe, as much as it pains me to say this, that Tesla, when they lowered the prices at the end of the year last year, went back to the people that had bought earlier in the month and gave them a refund equal to what they had dropped the price on those vehicles.
There we go.
So that the people that paid too much the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that, didn't feel bad. They got taken care of. I just, that Stellantis is saying, hey, you bought it at way too much money. That's your problem, not ours.
I know.
And they could get an awful lot of goodwill and great publicity if they stepped up. If they stepped up and they gave the other 10 people that bought them for way too much money.
If they just did the right thing, right?
Yes,
right?
Exactly. What else is on your hot list, Phil?
We got we got the Jeep Compass. I know that a lot of people look down on the Compass. It's not the greatest vehicle out there, but does it provide you utility? Is it appropriately priced? Yeah. And can you get a good discount? Yes, you can. So 18% off is about where you're at on a Jeep Compass, and you get decent utility. And And I would say for the average household looking for something like this, I think it's a good bang for the buck.
Okay. What else?
Kia Soul. So I'm sure that everyone has heard Kias are very tough to get at or below MSRP. Now the Souls are out there. They've got some discounts. You could see up to 9% off.
Wow.
It's an economical vehicle. It is 4 doors. It's got a hatch. It's got a little bit of room. It could be a very economical choice for any family.
Very cool. And last on your list of what's hot?
The Buick Encore, right? Yeah. So I see Justice put that little tag like Buick, like really Buick. I mean, look, I know Buick gets dogged on quite a bit, but the brand is different from what it used to be. It used to be targeted towards an older generation, and I really do think that they're getting their designs down. They're a little bit more aggressive. They do have a lot more vehicles sitting on the lot. So, of course, now you're going to get a better deal if you're looking to pick up a Buick. So 15% off of this compact size Encore. Again, great on fuel, good for the family, reasonably priced, and you can get up to 15% off.
Okay, so quickly, those were your top 5 were the Ram 1500, the Jeep the Cherokee Overland L, the Jeep Compass, the Kia Soul, and the Buick Encore. On your It's Not So Hot list, what do you got for us?
So I put the Venza on here, right? So I do like the Venza. It's a good looking vehicle. I know, and Justice, yeah, okay. So I like the Venza. I do, but a lot of dealers are still marking it over MSRP. These are more plentiful than we'll say a RAV4 or any of the other Toyota products. So I just don't understand why we're still seeing these over MSRP. So don't buy this over MSRP.
Am I correct? The Venza only comes as a hybrid?
Correct.
Okay. And to only pay, I hate to say this, to only pay 3% over MSRP for a Toyota hybrid at any particular point in time, almost, and let me emphasize, almost sounds like a bargain.
Yep. It could.
Yep.
It could.
What else we got there, Phil?
The Sportage Kia. So 4% over MSRP. If you're looking at the internal combustion, the Sportage at 4% over MSRP is just not worth it. You need to be at MSRP or below on that.
Next on your list,
the Escalade. So we're still seeing Escalade. Yes, 4% over MSRP, and that is the lesser of amounts that we have been seeing. As of late, we've been seeing $10,000 to $12,000 over sticker on the Escalades. And then not a good buy when it's just a gussied up Tahoe.
I hear you. And then I noticed on your list one that has been on our hot or not list and on the not side for a number of years now. Number 4, you have what is it? The Kia Telluride?
Yeah, I get it. It's a popular vehicle, right? Everyone wants one of these, right? But we are starting to see them on the lots, and we're seeing a lot more dealers selling these at MSRP. We might have seen 1 or 2 at a slight discount, but not over MSRP anymore.
Okay. And what rounds out your 5 for the not so hot?
Let's go with the Kia Seltos. Okay. Well, someone doesn't care for Kia. I'm trying not to dog on the Kia brand too much, but I have to say it's the Kia dealerships that are really making the deal bad, right? They're the ones that are marking it up, right? So none of these vehicles are inherently bad. What I think is that they're just not worth paying over sticker for. So you can try to find them at MSRP or less. Do not pay over sticker for these things.
Gotcha. Now, Mario, we're gonna move over to you because I know you put together a hot or not list. What's on your hot list? Which means vehicles that we would anticipate a customer should be able to get a good deal on,
I
or at
don't know
least
if
some
it's
type of
hot.
discount.
I don't think it's hot. Maybe a little bit spicy. Maybe just uh, a number three spice. Maybe. Yeah. So I'll try to focus on cars that people actually when we talk on the community or in chat that they actually buy. Right. I
Gotcha.
mean, I like the Renegade or the Comforter, but those are kind of not popular vehicles. They're kind of like the ones that you get because they're distressed merchandise. But these ones I'll try and just go. I my favorite brand for value, and I think for deals, and this is like maybe getting repetitive. It's Mazda with the CX-9. It's
Hmm.
an outgoing model, meaning the CX-90 is already arriving. People have been ordering the CX-90s pretty well. Um, Actually, Mazda has been starting to do deals on CX-90, so it's incredible.
Really?
And the CX-9 actually had the best year in 2022 from all its year selling. It's incredible. It sold more CX-9s in 2022 than any other year before. And it's an outgoing model. It's because Mazda, they saw the opportunity. They saw that Toyota and the other brands were kind of struggling with inventory. And they say, hey, we're going to price this vehicle pretty well.
So
We're seeing 10% off pre-incentive on this. If you see a leftover CX-9 right now, I
wow.
don't think that it's not going to be that difficult. And actually leasing it might be a possibility because you have a good discount and you have good incentives. I think last month they had 3,500 incentives plus the dealer discount that you could negotiate. So it could be
Wow.
a lot of people were able to do some pretty awesome deals on the
It,
outgoing
it,
CX-9.
it's amazing, Mario, that in the last year of the vehicles, when they would have their best year, I can tell you the best day I ever had when I had my Golf USA Pro Shop in Mesa, Arizona, was the first day of my going out of business sale. That was the strongest sales day I ever had.
Hey, yeah,
Unfortunately, it was the start of the beginning
I
or
like
the
Mazda for
beginning of
that.
the
'Cause,
end.
yeah,
Whatever. It didn't bode well. It didn't bode well. What's
well,
what's
I like
next
I
on
like
your
these
list?
I like these small companies that kind of move quickly. Subaru is another one, another small company, and not only the Wilderness, the XT and the Limited. I mean, if you're in that segment type of car, you could do pretty solid 3,000, 3,600. I've seen 4,000 sometimes on the XT that you
Wow.
can negotiate off MSRP. And these vehicles, have high resale value. They're pretty good value for the money. And I think they're just solid deals still. And Subaru is making it really easy. Like you can get a car. Like if I go right now and order one, I'll have it by July. So I mean, if you have a little bit patient, even though they might not have the exact one that you want, they'll get it quickly. I mean, Subaru is really nimble with producing vehicles,
Very
like
cool.
Mazda. Yeah, they're really quick. And which one's the next? I don't remember which one.
I believe it might have been a Honda Ridgeline.
Oh yeah. So Honda is tough for almost all vehicles, but I like the Ridgeline, a good alternative to other trucks that are still tough to get under MSRP. You can get 4,000, 4,500 off a Ridgeline easy. And I've seen this on every single region. It's not difficult. It's a pretty good truck. It's maybe it's not like the traditional work truck, but it's pretty awesome. So if you want a Santa Cruz, but no one's discounting the Santa Cruz, well, the Ridgeline is an awesome option, and I think it's a good value for the money right now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, isn't that a beautiful car there? I don't know why they need to discount it, but I'm strong on Nissan as a brand also that's starting to move vehicles because they have good inventory. The Nissan Rogue, a lot of people like them. I'm not a super fan of the
Hmm.
Rogue, but I think it's an okay vehicle for the family. The price point's good, lots of features for the money, and you can get 8%, 9%. We're starting to see actually even the Kicks getting some discounts. We were surprised, a couple of days ago. We start seeing, a little bit of flexibility from dealers. And Nissan, like Kia, has never been a good dealership kind of,
No,
experience.
I
Yeah,
understand.
it's Kia the worst, and then it's Nissan. But I'll put out there Nissan, the Rogue, and also the Altima as a vehicle that's still negotiable. You're gonna be seeing some flexibility there. That's
And then your last one on the list was a surprise to me.
I like it. Yeah, it's a new one. It's a 2024, the
Yeah.
redesign. The outgoing 2023 also, the new Tacoma has everyone's talking about it, and I think might happen. This one I put it on my radar because I think might happen what last year happened with the Highlander when the 6-cylinder came out and everyone wanted the V6. So I think the new one's such an improvement and it looks so different that I think dealers that have incoming units might be willing to negotiate way better on the Tacoma in the next coming months. So just keep an eye out. If you're looking for a Tacoma, it might be good to wait until the 24s to start, being saturated a bit more in the media, and everyone wants those and starts dropping the reservations that they had for the 2023s. I think that might be like a good. Also, the Tundra, we just did a deal a couple of days ago. It's in the community, $4,500, off a Tundra Platinum. So these cars, these trucks are negotiable. I mean, they are more high volume, but you might see initially that they are not negotiable. But if you keep pushing and we're patient, I think that they're still pretty hot deals. And you can't beat a Tacoma or a Tundra for value right now.
Yeah,
So
and they're
good.
excellent trucks. Quickly, what's on your not so hot list as far as you really couldn't expect
Anything
to get much
Kia.
of a deal? Anything
Kia, yeah, especially the Celtos and the Sport. I don't know why everyone likes them, but it's just tough, man. I mean, whenever I see that, I'm like, even at MSRP, I don't think it's a good deal. Even at MSRP, I wouldn't even buy it at MSRP. I remember getting, thousands, 9,000, discounts on Hyundais and Kias before. I mean, I wouldn't even pay MSRP. So yeah, avoid Kias, Sportage, Forte, all of those. Tough to get.
And I see you have a couple Toyota products on the list.
Oh,
the
yeah.
first one, the 4Runner.
Yeah, people love their 4Runners, but it's so tough right now. It's dealers, even big dealers, just get a few 4Runners, allocated each month, and everyone wants the 4Runner. Everyone wants the same TRD Off-Road Pro or the TRD, Premium. It's just tough. Forget about it. I mean, just maybe have a lot of patience, but you won't get a huge discount of these trucks. It's gonna be tough.
And I see you have a Honda on here.
Yeah, Honda's HRV, affordable. It's okay, and dealers are not moving. I mean, I've been shopping for a couple of these for family members, and I mean, it's just tough. I mean, everyone wants one of those. It's like a Honda Civic, but a little bit taller and a little bit, it looks bigger and nicer. But it's just dealers will not move. They might say MSRP, but they'll add 2,000, 3,000 in add-ons, and they will not easily remove this. Very rare will you get one at MSRP, and I think it's still it's too new, and it's kind of difficult to get one.
Right. And the last two on your list, you have two vans, and I know vans are really tough to come by these days.
Yeah. Carnival, it's been I'm something you have to reckon with the Carnival is that those markups have kept consistently through these 2 years. It's at the best negotiating. Like if you're super into negotiating, you'll do 2,000 over MSRP, and that's like excellent job that you've done. But this go for 35, 4,000 over, and the Sienna is just impossible. It's impossible to get in most markets, and the wait time is way too long. So if you need a minivan, yeah, I think you're out of luck, or you need to go in to get a Pacifica or something different. Yeah, it's just impossible to get those cars.
Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you for that. I was going to add my list, but we've run a little over on this segment. I will try and bring my list in at the close if everybody doesn't mind. One of the things that we wanted to do tonight was we really wanted to dive a little more deeply into leasing and how to understand leasing. And before we get started, I will say this. I am a huge proponent of leasing, or I was at one point in time before manufacturers started to take away the ability for you to be able to buy it at the end of the lease if you wanted to. And I possessed a pretty good understanding as to how you build a lease, what's important, what you need to look for in a lease. But because I did it so often and it just became second nature to me, I never really possessed the ability to be able to communicate that to other people. And one of the things I know about Mario is that you have this innate ability to take complex subjects like leasing that most people don't understand. And when I say most people, I'm including the salespeople at the dealerships that are selling these leases. They don't understand them. They couldn't build one. They don't understand how and why they work. So we thought, since you have the ability to be able to really communicate those complex situations like that, if you could spend some time going over a lease, what it is that customers should be looking for, what are the important aspects of the lease, and then if I think you're leaving anything out, I will I will quietly chime in. How's that?
That sounds good. Yeah,
Okay,
ask many
cool.
questions. Yeah, please. No, well, leasing is kind of like I think it's misunderstood. I think one point I kind of see that I'm renting a vehicle and basically throwing out money, out the window. But it's basically just you're just paying for depreciation, which you're gonna be paying, anyways when you own a car, and you're paying for the finance cost of buying leasing the vehicle. So
Mm-hmm.
someone's borrowing the money, and you got to pay for interest, like you do with a normal finance purchase, right? So to me, it's a very, very similar. It's nothing way it's either wrong or good necessarily. It's just if it fits your needs, it's pretty good. But I'll tell you something. Like if the best way that I tell people is like the steps are the same. You always, when you're going to negotiate a lease, you always want to negotiate the price of the vehicle first. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first step. Like even if you're not going to end up leasing, you got to negotiate the best out the door. Like you need to get that car at a price point where it's similar or better than the actual if you were going to finance it or let's do a normal buy. So I think that's the first step. Like people need to understand, like the leasing doesn't mean, oh, I just come in and I'm going to get a low payment just because I'm leasing. I'm just going to get like a $300 payment just because I'm leasing. No, you got to negotiate the
Mm-hmm.
selling price of the car, and you got to do a little bit of homework beforehand, right? And I think on that side, I think you ask a good question, like what makes a good car a good candidate for leasing. And right now, and basically almost always, like very few cars are actually good to lease. Like remember pre-COVID, like the cars that the lease were the ones that almost dealers weren't selling. Like the
Yes.
Renegade, like they had these huge incentives for cars that were not moving, and they made great lease deals. Like the Cruise, I remember the Cruise for $99 a month. You could lease one, and because it wasn't moving. So yeah, so you gotta do a little bit of homework and just find the vehicle that's being incentivized pretty aggressively, right? And so you got to know
Mm-hmm.
the market a little bit. Right now, for example, Phil mentioned one that's pretty cool, like the Jeep Grand Cherokee, right? That has that $22,000, 20% off MSRP.
That's on a cash though. You can't.
I know, yeah,
yeah.
but the Jeep as a brand is having a problem moving these vehicles, so they're incentivizing leases, right? So you won't see that until you actually start researching a little bit the lease programs, right? So that's the first step that you gotta that I recommend. Like a good vehicle has to have a good lease program, and a good lease program means what's the incentives that the leasing company is offering so you take this vehicle and lease it, right? It could be in the form of cash. They'll throw 20,000, 7,000, 500. It's money. It's like a rebate. It's like a discount, right? And they also incentivize the money factor. It means that the interest rate, which is the money factor,
Mm-hmm.
they'll put it like close to zero. So they'll basically be giving free money, right? So you can borrow at a very low interest rate, and that basically means that your financing cost will be lower, right?
Yeah.
And also the other one is like they'll inflate the residual value, right? Banks will say, hey, this Renegade will not move because its true residual value, it means that it will depreciate pretty hefty in 3 years. Let's say they will depreciate 50%, right, in 3 years. Maybe they'll inflate it and they'll say, we'll buy a little bit of that risk and we'll give a 66% residual value. So we're going to inflate the residual. And then you start looking at this and then you see, oh, well, I'm going to have low depreciation. low finance cost, and I have incentives, and that's like the trifecta of getting a good lease deal. Plus another one that's like the icing on the cake. If you can get like a dealer discount, that'll make the lease really attractive. So it's
Yeah.
it's incentives, it's good lease program, it's a solid dealer discount for that vehicle. Now many vehicles don't have that right now. I think most of them, they either have like you mentioned, oh, MSRP is a good deal. When leasing MSRP, you're better off buying.
Yes.
You're better off buying the car. Because at least
Now-
you'll have equity.
Yeah. Mario, don't you have a deal to show everybody?
Yeah, and I'll show you how. Let's see. Let's how.
Let's
This
see
one,
it.
this one I did like we did like last month, and I just wanted to show you like that little rectangle, near the bottom. That's the incentives for a cheap a Wrangler 4xe, which is a hybrid. The trim is a Wheelie Sport. Now I actually leased one of these 2 years ago, and look at the incentives that this car has for people who were living in the Pacific Northwest. It's $14,000. Like it's,
Oof.
and if you can zoom in, you can read what those incentives are. So now no dealer is gonna tell you like, hey, come and lease a 4xe. No one's gonna say no one. So you gotta do your research and say, hey, what's leasing good right now? And this vehicle was leasing super well last month because of the incentives. So $14,000 in incentives plus almost $45,000 in dealer discount. And you add that up, it's almost 30% of the MSRP. So that's a big push to make this lease affordable. And affordable, I mean, in these times, right? not what we are used to. So yeah,
What,
this is
Mario.
actually
What? This isn't a $200 a month lease? What?
No, it's a $61,000 truck. So yeah, so you can say, yeah, oh, it's inflated, the MSRP is super high. Yeah, well, leasing, the MSRP doesn't matter that much. What you want is the discount. Like the MSRP, since you're only paying for depreciation, I'm not scared of a $60,000 truck as long as I can get 30% off, on the total cost of the vehicle.
And Mario, speaking of the depreciation is factored off of what the MSRP is. So when you hear about the residual values, because there's several things that make up a lease, the residual value, so that they can figure out what the expected future value of that vehicle should be. That's the residual value. And the way they calculate the residual value is if they think that the vehicle is going to depreciate 35% in 3 years, then the residual value will be based off of a 65% residual value. So you would take the MSRP, and in this case, that would be $61,785, and you would times that by 65% if that's the residual value for this vehicle, and I don't know. But whatever that amount is, that would be your depreciation for the life of the lease. Depending upon the term of the lease, if it was a 36-month lease, you would divide that depreciation amount by 36 months, and you would get a monthly depreciation amount. So that's one part of the lease. Is you want to find a vehicle, for instance, many Toyotas, where they might only depreciate 25% in 3 years. So you're going to be paying very little depreciation. That should generally equate to a lower lease payment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you could also have like a really attractive residual value, but MSRP and really high money factor and no incentives, and it just looks you're better off buying it, right?
Yes.
So you gotta have all these three main ingredients come together, so it combines and makes the payment attractive enough to lease it instead of buy it, right? In our market right now, like it has to, like, you have to have a good dealer discount. In this case, it was almost 7% of MSRP, like the dealer discount. Like that's coming from the dealer's pocket, not from the leasing company or the manufacturer. That's 100% from the dealer, right? So that's a good discount, 8% on a Wrangler. I think that's pretty that's okay. That's pretty aggressive. But you have 7,500 in the EV credit, and you have
Yes.
6,500 in other lease cash that Chrysler Capital is passing to the consumer. So you have 14,000 in bonus. Now you see the money factor there. It's not so bad. It's not incredible. You see the APR there. It says money factor 0.00166. It's 3.998, right? And when right now the market rate, it's at 5.9, 6%, at least. So it's being subsidized. Chrysler Capital is putting a little bit of their money to buy the rate down, and that's what it means. When you see like a good money factor of 4% and lower, I mean that they're trying to move this vehicle and make the payment attractive for you guys. The residual, it's not spectacular. It's 57, right? It's not. I mean, it's not so bad, but it's not great. But I think they just draw the line and they say, we're better off, lowering the money factor and not inflating the residual, because that will basically expose them to some holding risk when the lease is coming due and being returned.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of so. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of smart people. I want to like our members. There's a lot of smart people every month sitting down and analyzing the market and which vehicles sell and which vehicles don't sell, and they come with this specific incentives to move this vehicle that month. And each month it changes. Like I'm waiting. I think these incentives like went away like $2,000 like yesterday, just because it sold pretty well. It sold pretty well, so they're trying to put a little bit of the brake on the incentives, right? But every single month they check and they release a new lease program for it.
I will say this, having been in the retail side of things for as long as I had been, manufacturers look at model specific inventory levels by region every month and adjust their marketing by region every month. So if those 4 XEs sold really, really well last month when they had that promo, and now their inventories within balance in the Northwest, well, those incentives could go away. I mean, literally, we think we track data here at CarEdge, and we do. We do a pretty good job of it. But, and Phil knows this from when he was with Ford Motor Credit, nobody tracks the data quite like the manufacturers do, because they look at every model specific inventory level based on every marketing area in every region and adjust their marketing dollars and incentives accordingly, which is oftentimes, we had incentives in Arizona when I was there that were Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Nevada specific. And if a customer from California wanted to come over, they wouldn't qualify for those incentives based on, the problem was in Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico.
It's curious that word goes around, and like, for example, this 4xe, I got it from this member, and I wasn't aware until I started looking into it, and dealers were making some pretty good offers on the last week of the month, but there's not enough to make everyone's gonna get this deal. I think it's very, like you mentioned, they know they just need to move X amount of units, and they know by history, how it's pulling one lever, how it moves the sales, to one direction. When they pull 2 levers and 3 levers, how this can go. And I think in this case, like if you're there, the community, if you're there, talking to us and just say, hey, what's right now moving on leases, and we can tell you, provide you a little bit more context. Sometimes there's vehicles that are not popular. That's another thing. Like the best trims, the nicest higher trims, the more popular, those are not going to be incentivized. But the Willy, because everyone wants the one, the really nice one, with the nice wheels and the big suspension. Well, no, in this case, if you want a deal, you have to go to the model that's incentivized, and that happens with every single model out there. That one specific is going to move and not all of them, right?
Did you have any other leases that you did recently that you want to share with us tonight, or was that the one?
No, this is very 50,000, feet, type of level of talking about what goes into like a good lease deal. I think we should definitely, we're looking into getting like a workshop or doing like a bit of a more detail oriented, because it's a very complicated topic. There's tools around that make it easy for you to get the information in the right place and do the actual calculations and modify, which down payment, how much you're going to put, or if you don't put anything, or you want to adjust the discount. That's like another level. But right now, I think the takeaway is just that there are three factors that you need to look at, not only one. And just because you want a low payment, it doesn't mean that you're going to get it through a lease. Right now, like hybrids, CRVs, RAV, all of those, you're better off buying it. Because if you can buy it and sell it in 3 years, you'll probably be in a better position, out of pocket, than just leasing it and returning it, right? So you're better off buy the car, keep it for 3 years, and sell it. You probably have a little bit of equity, and you can pocket that equity instead of giving it away.
Yeah. Mario, what are those? What are those? Just to get to the end of leasing here, what again are the three things that folks should be looking for when they go to look at a lease deal?
When they already have the lease deal, or selecting like a car,
so when they already have it. So let's say they've already gone to the dealership and they look at the quote like you just showed, right? So what are the three main factors that they should be on a high level take away from this and to be looking for?
It's this quote that I have here, it shows the purchase, the out-the-door purchase price, but we're not looking at the actual worksheet. That's the big advantage that dealers have right now with consumers when they go and lease, that no one asks for a worksheet. No one asks for the actual lease worksheet. And I think that's what you have to ask for. Every single deal that you do on a lease, you're going to have to say, hey, I love the number, that's fine. But before I move forward and I sign off on the deal, I got to have this lease worksheet. And on the lease worksheet, you're going to see the structure. You're going to see the MSRP, the selling price, the money factor, the residual value, any add-ons that they're placing on the vehicle. You're going to see taxes, government fees, and it'll be really simple to look. That number has to match that little out-the-door quote that they provided. If it doesn't match the numbers, the main numbers, something's off, just walk away and come back and ask us a community or ask us by a coach what's happening here. Because what we see is they move the money factor, they add some product and you don't see it because it's only $10 a month, it's $14 extra. Well, no, it's $14 by 39 or by 38.
Awesome.
Or 48, right? So look at the worksheet and just compare with your out-the-door quote that everything matches.
So the important, it sounds like to me, you want to make sure that you've got your discount and that the agreed upon selling price matches the capitalized cost on the lease. You want to know what the residual percentage is and what that residual value will be at the end of the lease, so you could even rudimentarily calculate what your depreciation would be, and you want to know what your money factor is so that you can figure out what the interest portion of your lease will be. And when you look at a lease contract, it shows all of that. It breaks it down, but you need to know what you're looking for. And the thing to remember is the capitalized cost always includes the bank's acquisition fee, because the bank charges a fee up front to put the lease together. And in many instances, not with all manufacturers, but with many of them, the acquisition fee also includes the purchase of gap insurance for that lease. Now, I know Toyota Financial does not, but like Honda Financial does, BMW, most of your major brands include gap insurance as part of the acquisition fee.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. You mentioned those are the three ones. I definitely recommend getting if I'm lying, Phil, no one asked for the lease worksheet. No one.
No,
No
one.
one
But
has
what
that.
do we do
There's
though?
no coacher.
We
Ask
coach
for it.
folks on
Yeah.
getting the actual worksheet, because
Yeah.
then you'll actually get to see what your money factor is, what your
Yes.
residual is,
Exactly.
what your selling price is, what discount you're going to get. These are all
And
key
so
factors when looking at
if
at
they don't
lease.
provide it, they're hiding something, and you
Yeah.
just gotta be, yeah. If they don't, they say, "Oh, I don't know what it is." Well, they know what it is. I mean, because every
Yes.
single, there's no way of generating a lease proposal without entering those numbers on the actual worksheet.
Trust
Yeah.
me, Mario, no sales manager has ever put together a lease proposal without knowing what it is.
Well, that's how we caught. That's how we caught like 99% of the issues. Like it's right there. The money factor is marked up 40 basis points or 80 basis points or something, 120 basis points, and it just means that they're adding $3,000 to the cost there,
Yes.
and you're
Yeah.
not looking, you're not seeing it. No one's gonna see it. So you gotta look at the numbers and understand the structure a little bit, but that's a little bit more complex. As long as they give you the lease worksheet, it's a good sign that they're upfront and transparent, and you just gotta need to check the numbers that they match what you have on your auto door, right? And I think that's gonna be pretty easy. Yeah, that's not difficult.
Yep, there you have it. I think if you want to dig more deeply into this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid you're going to have to do it on your own time because Phil has a couple deals that he wanted to go over from the activity that he's been involved in with trying to structure some deals for some of our members recently.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Phil, what is it? You have 2 deals that you wanted to do, or?
Yeah, we're gonna and we're gonna go to our favorite manufacturer, and I'm sure you all can guess, Kia.
Yeah.
So I think
Let's see.
Justice is gonna share it here, so we can see what we're looking at.
Well, thank you, Austin. Let's thank Austin for his nice $10 contribution.
Yes,
And Austin
thank you,
said
Austin.
student loan payments resume in 60 days. This should equate to the greatest negative % change in consumer spending ever. What impact do you think this will have on the car market? Accelerated decline. If you want me to take a shot at that real quick, I don't think it's going to have any real impact on the market because those people that are going to be confronted with those student loan payments starting again probably did not take that money that they were saving and put it towards a car, nor were they intending to. That's just and I could be 180 degrees off base with my thinking, but I think the impact will be minimal. What do you think, Phil?
I think I might disagree just a bit. If
You're allowed to.
If folks are coming back to have to actually now make their payments again, if I can recall when I did my student loan payments, they were roughly $130 a month, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm thinking that I'm already strapped for cash monthly, and I'm looking at potentially buying a vehicle and getting into a $600 or $700 loan, wow, I would think that $130 student loan payment might put a kink in that ability to afford that. And what used car monthly payments are averaging about $550, something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be some impact. Is it going to be enough to move the market? Maybe not, but I'm thoughtful in that I know that some folks are going to be impacted by that, and that for lack of a better term just kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. Mario, you have any thoughts on that?
No. I think at least we're not talking about Ford, and it's just Kia. So.
Well, with that having somewhat answered Austin's question, let's get into the deals that you've recently worked, Phil. That where we were able to save some members some, I think, some real money here.
So this one actually came across, if you want to call it our desk, the CIA desk.
Yes.
We've got a Telluride. And here we have someone looking at one at a $53,000 205 Telluride. It looks like they also have a trade in this deal as well, looking to trade their 2014 Sentra. So like they're likely to get some tax savings here. However, that doesn't negate all of the optional fees and packages that this dealership so choose to say, hey, Mr. Customer, thank you for coming to buy, or thank you for coming to look at my vehicle and considering to purchase it from me, but I'm looking to get another, $4, $7, $8, $9,000 out of you.
Oh my God.
These used to be big last year, right? We used to see these a ton. This was like every deal that we came in, we had to deal with this. And, they put optional on here. Great. But you know what? That desert package, the powder coated rims, those are all optional. They still are optional. You do not need to buy this. If the dealership says, sorry, no deal, if you're asking to take that off, this is not a dealership I want to do business with. Any dealership that's going to force you into a product that is of no need to you, and for you to spend your hard-earned money on for something that you don't need, it's a no-go for me. This, in my opinion, is taking advantage of the consumer.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I still to this day don't understand why dealerships still want to do this. They're certainly not thinking about the long-term relationship that they could potentially be creating with this customer, not to mention referral business and, whatnot. We get from time to time folks in the auto industry coming back to us and say, well, you're always putting us in a bad light. Well, that's not true.
No.
It's because of dealerships like this that actually do this to take advantage of consumers, can put another dealership in a bad light, whatever you want to call it, right? So this is why it's so important to get an out the door quote, to understand what you're getting into, to understand what sort of business relationship you're going to get into with a dealership. This is right here. They're telling you, this is what we want. We're greedy. We want this from you. And if you're going to buy the vehicle from us, try to negotiate, right? So needless to say, this deal is a definite no-go for me. Obviously try to negotiate, if this is the only Telluride and you must have a Telluride now, and this is the only one within a certain radius, call other dealers, get comparable quotes. Please do that.
Look at other makes and models.
Yeah.
Correct. But people want their Tellurides.
And Phil, I get that people want, and they get fixated on it, and they want it, but that doesn't mean that the Telluride's the end all and be all.
Oh no, it isn't.
There are other comparable vehicles out there. I don't know, a Honda Pilot. Maybe it's not quite as sexy as the Telluride, but it's probably, quality-wise, the Honda's probably a better product.
Probably.
Wouldn't be as sexy, but it would be a better product.
Correct.
I mean,
the Palisade, right?
What was that?
The Palisade.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same car. It just looks a little bit different, right? But yeah.
Yes.
And to be devil's advocate, we always encounter these, and I also myself with the Forerunner, I'll be quick. Like, there are people waiting a year for their Tellurides, right? They took the time and they researched the right dealer, and they went and they negotiated MSRP, and they wait for their car for their truck to arrive just how they want it at MSRP with no add-ons, no nothing, right? But if you want to drop by, a walk-in customer is gonna drop by in Florida and ask for a Prestige, an SX, which is probably the most popular one. Well, this is not surprising to me. You're going to get ahead of the line of everyone. They're probably going to end up paying. There's a way of getting the Telluride at MSRP. You have to do your work. Just walking in and expecting them to give you MSRP on the first try, I mean, that's also lack of understanding of the market and doing your research. You got to do your work. I mean, you got to do your work. You want the car, and you don't want to be taken advantage of. You got to invest a little bit of time in understanding how they're selling at MSRP and which dealers are going to give you the deal. Just don't walk into your local neighborhood dealer and expect, the best price possible on that. Probably one of the toughest cars to get.
I just like you were saying, and other folks are saying in here that the Palisades are getting discounts. I'm like,
Yeah.
go get that.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
Or the
it's
CX-9, I mean, which we talked
that
about
too.
before, where there's a vehicle that you can expect to get some savings, some
Yes.
significant savings, and there is no way you're going to convince me that the Telluride for more money than a CX-9 is a better vehicle than that Mazda CX-9. You're not going to
Mm-mm.
convince me of that.
No,
I am a firm believer that Mazda is several times better a vehicle than that Kia Telluride.
yes.
That's just me.
Yep.
But
Yep. No, the
it's
6.9 is a great vehicle with
it's
discounts
a
out
good
there.
value.
Yeah, it is a good
It's a
value.
good value. I mean, the Telluride's an awesome, and I think it's worth more than what it sells for. I mean, it's a lot of things for the money, but I mean, to me, it's like when I see that quote, it's like
It's a Kia for $62,000, and then when
come
I
on,
see that, I'm like,
no,
yeah,
no,
no.
no, 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 no. You move on. You wait.
Yes,
Yeah,
you move on.
move on.
You move on.
yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is to show you. This is just a bad deal, right? And
Yes.
to know that when you see something like this, to me, this is a just runaway, right? Because this is just not a dealership that you want to do business with. Someone that's looking to take advantage of you is not a business relationship that you want to have. Seek out other vehicles like we've just discussed. Get other competing quotes. If you're stuck on the Telluride, go to other Kia dealers. Get other competing quotes, but also look at the competition.
You have to go out of state to get one of these at MSRP. It's an out of state kind of deal, or order one and just wait 6 months.
Yes.
You're flexible. That's it.
Yes.
You want it, yeah.
Did you have another deal you wanted to go over with us?
Well, I mean, the Kia was horrible, right?
Yes.
So I thought, Mario talked some nice stuff about the Subaru.
Hey.
So let's show what he was just talking about, right? Here's an Outback, a 40,696 stickered vehicle, and they're getting $3,200. Now this is a 7.1% off MSRP for this deal, and so this is what we're talking about when you're looking and doing research, knowing the market, and being able to know that if you go to several dealerships, you're going to find someone that's going to give you a discount. They are out there. You just need to search for it. Always. Now, they also have a 2015 Subaru. Now, when you have a trade in the deal, you need to be a little bit wary of this and not just take it for face value. So, although they might be giving you a $3,200 discount, they may be lowballing the trade significantly to offset that. So, always do your homework on your trade. Make sure that you're getting what the car is worth. Back in CarEdge, you can go to our sell tab and be able to input the vehicle information and get real live offers of what online dealerships would be willing to pay for your trade now. And it's a great piece of leverage to be able to go to the dealership and get a fair value on your trade. Black Book is available through us through the coach program. We've got other data that can help you analyze your trade. We're here to help. And this right here, everything that we've got available, and just again doing your homework can solidify what the dealership is presenting in front of you to make sure you got a good deal.
You know what? Here, my comment here is like you gotta know to make a reasonable ask when you go to like this case. I'm telling you, like the XT, right? You know that it's gonna be 36, right? If you go in and ask for 6,000 off, I mean that's like losing. Like you lost your shot, right? So you gotta know, and don't go too low, but don't go too high. Like just go what's reasonable. And with Subaru is one of the best brands that they're reasonable people. I think they care about their customers.
They do.
I think they have some a little bit more moral fiber than most, and they will actually negotiate if they see that the market. Like if you give a number that's reasonable, like with the Ascent, I saw there in the comments, I forgot to mention that one. The Ascent, like 4,000 off. they'll deal. They know that Cent's not moving, and they know that at 4,000 they can still make, they're still coming out okay. So know your number and don't overshoot, and don't go with the first offer. Also, I mean, I think that's kind of with Subaru, with all the encounters that we have. Like, you gotta shoot for 36, and if you do 32, that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I mean,
and to go off that, Mario, like when you see a quote like that, you might see that dealerships being very generous at 7.1% off, right? Don't go back and anticipate a counter offer at 14% off. This is, again, don't think that the dealership is obviously giving a discount, and now you can think that now it can be twice that, right? Like, oh well, they can do 3,200, they must be able to do 6,000, right? Or something around those lines. This is where knowing your market, doing your research, you'll know what an acceptable discount is, what a fair discount is. And usually you can probably get, a little bit more, because that was obviously first pencil, right? So yes, there's probably a little bit more wiggle room. Just don't go in at $6,000.
Yeah, we say 36, and then they say, I asked for 4,000, and now they're not returning my call.
Like,
and
they're just not.
We said 36, right? Yeah, you got to be reasonable. I think that's the key word. Yeah,
reasonable is key word.
But I like the XT and the Wilderness. Yeah, solid deals. Really nice car.
Yep.
Well, that was great. I think Austin Feinberg is upset with me, if I may, and he keeps spending his hard-earned money that he could be putting towards his student loan debt, but instead he's spending it on me to try to educate me, and I appreciate that, and I will say this without. And you're talking New York City, so you're talking a whole different animal than the rest of the country, number one, okay? But here's what I will tell you from 43 years experience in the retail automobile industry. If the people know who have student loan debt that has been put off for the time being, and they're going to have to start paying it again, allegedly, in 60 days, and they know they're going to need a car, they will go out and buy the car before they stop paying the student loans when they start coming due again. Okay? Because I have seen that so many times in my career, where the people will get the car and then they'll stop making their student loan payments. And typically in the past, banks have never really held that against them to the point where they wouldn't give them another loan in the future. Now, it might be at a much higher rate. But ultimately, I can't tell you how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt that I have seen written off over the years from the banks. So people will just go out, they'll buy their car, and then when it's time to start making their student loan payments again, they won't. They just won't. And it's been going on for decades, okay? Absolute decades, where people took out student loans with the intention of never paying them back. And in many cases, they never did. I'm done. I'm sorry. I just had to say that, but I appreciate Austin, the information you're sharing, and it's valued. It's valid information, but human nature is such that what might be valid information doesn't matter to so many people. It just really doesn't. They'll just stop making the payments and they'll just say the hell with it. Oh, wait, I'm the host. I'm supposed to continue. Anybody want to disagree with my last comments? Feel free to do so. You're allowed to do that. Oh, and a birthday shout out to Peter Gozanaya. I guess that's how you say it, from Zach C. Well, thank you for the donation, and I hope your Uncle Peter is pleased with you as his nephew. I would hope. I don't know. I got to keep it moving, Pop. I have direction from my son here. Do you have any idea how long this show's supposed to be tonight?
It's supposed to be an hour.
Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to talk about my list of what's hot and what's not. Okay, well, here we go. The 1967 Chevrolet Impala was hot, baby. Hot, hot, hot. And thank you, Jennifer, for suggesting that and reminding me of that. Number 2 on the list, the 1970 Dodge Charger in Hunter Green with the white vinyl top. Thank you, Kimberly Klein, for reminding me of that one. Now, my own personal list of what's hot. Any sub from the White House sub shop in Atlantic City. There is no better sub in America. I guarantee it. If you want a good pizza while you're down here in the Atlantic City area, please get over to Tony's Baltimore Grill. It has been an institution since 1928, and they by and far have the best pizza in the city. And what Zach and I found out Sunday night when we went to dinner to celebrate my birthday and Aunt Doreen's birthday, there is no better steakhouse wedge salad than what one can get at the Palm. That salad was incredible.
Nice.
I would go back to the Palm just to eat that salad. I wouldn't care about the steak or anything else, just that salad. Now, what's on my list of what's hot? What's not? The Jeep Grand Wagoneer Series 3. Okay, it's a Jeep. Do we really need to say anything more? And does anybody really need a Jeep that big for $115,000?
Ray, can I elaborate on that real quick?
Yeah,
that's on the Ram platform. So that is a Ram 1500 with a Jeep body put on top of it. That's that. So that for $115,000. Just wanted to put that out there.
And we had a member last year who drove his for about 600 miles before the rear axle fell off. If I remember correctly.
Yes.
And it had $35,000 worth of warranty work done to it on a vehicle with less than 600 miles.
Yep.
What also is not hot is the Dodge Challenger SRT Super Stock. I don't know who that one came from. And the Maserati MC20. Is that Cielo or is that CeeLo Green? I'm not sure. CeeLo Green's a singer, isn't he? I get so confused by the two. And food-wise, what's not hot is the Hometown Buffet. Okay, I would never recommend going there, and absolutely positively do everything you can to stay away from Long John Silver's, everybody. They really aren't offering seafood. God knows what it is. So that's my hot and what's not list. And I think it says here, segment 4 question and answer session, 5 minutes. So kids, you got 5 minutes to get this stuff correct. Zach and Justice will coordinate a question and answer segment by presenting questions from the audience to the host. Let's go, Justice. Hit it, baby. Okay, Zach C., who I believe wished a happy birthday to his Uncle Peter. Should I trade my 23 Camaro for a 24 next year? Why? Why would you want to do that? Why?
I think he was. I think Zach, you were talking about because it's the last year and there might be some sort of memorial vehicle. Are we talking like on a ZL1? What kind of Camaro?
I don't know.
If you're talking about.
Is he thinking about Barrett Jackson 40 years from now? I mean,
I don't know.
It isn't going to matter unless you're one of those ones that buys it, never drives it, parks it in the garage somewhere, keeps it spick and span, and then 40 years from now takes it to Barrett Jackson in Scottsdale, Arizona, and somebody overbids. But otherwise, if you're buying it to drive it, what's the point? Just keep the 23. Mario, this is for you. Mario, what's the money factor on the wedge salad of Ray's? I can tell you the caloric factor.
That's a good one.
That is kind of funny. Okay, 2020 or newer Toyota Supra, yay or nay? Mario, I'll give this one to you.
No, actually, I think that's more Phil's area, I think, right?
On a Toyota?
Supra?
I'm not a fan.
Me neither. I'm not a super fan. Sorry. Yeah, no. It's a BMW, so no.
It is. It's got the, it's got the 6. It's got the 6 in there, which is decent, right? I mean, if you're gonna buy it to keep it,
if it's manual, yeah.
It's used, and you're gonna, those you're probably going to pay more for it than you need to pay for it if you're looking to do it now.
Yes. NWPA, I guess that stands for Northwest Pennsylvania. My question is, should I order a 6-inch or a foot-long sub tonight? Well, if you're talking about Subway, you should pass. Okay, go somewhere else. Okay, go find a real sandwich shop. When it comes to subs, I can't recommend anything other than the White House. I'm sorry. Unless you want a cheese and tuna sub from Dino's in Margate, New Jersey, nobody whips their tuna quite like Dino's does. Any other questions Susanna wants to know, not a fan of Toyota?
No, Suzanne, I'm sorry. I'm from Detroit. I like my American cars.
Yeah. M240i instead of the Supra. Yeah, I think that's right. The right comment.
Really, Justice?
Anything else for us, Justice, or is this time for me to thank everybody for being here, to thank Mario and Phil? If this was a real show, I'd have a director or a producer in my good ear telling me what to do next, but we don't have this. So I'm assuming, since no more watch. Okay, watch. Yes, watch every video, every show on every channel that CarEdge has, whether it be CarEdge Electric Unplugged with your friend Justice and myself Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or the news that you can use with CarEdge with Zach and Ray Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, or your watch, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, what about my watch? It's a Panzera, ladies and gentlemen, and as I said to my son today, I am the only guy in America who would actually change the band, the strap on the watch, so that it would match my shirt tonight. Okay, because normally it has a black band. Jennifer's in the house.
No way.
I heard that there was food or like a good wedge salad.
There was an incredible wedge salad.
I'm there for
Jennifer.
that.
Yes. Jennifer, the next time you're in Atlantic City, I'll make it a point to take you to the Palm, and we can split a wedge salad.
I'm there for that.
Okay, you just let me know when.
Yeah. No, I you can't fence me, and you never know where I'll show up.
You're absolutely correct with that, because we had no idea you were showing up here tonight.
No, a secret guest appearance.
Well, we appreciate that, and I want to thank you for the 67 Impala on the list.
Yeah,
it's the best pick. I mean, I think we can all agree. If you put aside like facts, reason, and data, it is number one.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jennifer from our team. So if you have contact with us, there's a strong likelihood that you will hear back from Jennifer. And nobody takes care of customers better than Jennifer does.
She does.
She has a way of making people feel good, special, and makes it worth their time. So, thank you for being here, Jennifer.
Yes.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do now, Justice? Am I supposed to mention time zones all over the world or something? That literally we'll be back somewhere. It says here, I'm reading the script. We have a script, ladies and gentlemen. I have a script that says, finally, Ray will announce the time for next week's show with Zach and Ray, which is normally at noon Eastern here, 5 p.m. Mountain Time in Phoenix, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time in Chicago. That would be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Ventnor, New Jersey, where I am, 8 p.m. in Halifax, 9 p.m. in Newfoundland, because, well, they're on Newfoundland Standard Time. Who didn't know that? 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time in South Georgia and South. Oh, that's enough of this. Jennifer, thank you for being here tonight. Mario, thank you for your insights and all your input. Phil, thank you for being the head of the CIA. CarEdge would be nothing without our car coaches in action. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank Justice for producing, Zach and Justice and Kimberly for moderating. And I believe we'll be back here again sometime. Don't know exactly when.